Chelsea are still in hot pursuit of Jules Kounde, but big reports that the move could be hijacked by Barcelona. What will this do to Chelsea's transfer window? What is the inside track? And what are the British journalists saying about this deal? I've been contacted by somebody who I know is very close to Chelsea. A number of journalists that have been on the channel provided a number of updates for us to give to you live this morning on the Football Terrace. And you've got the chance to phone in and have your say. We're also delving into Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. Is it now entering the final stages as Arsenal are set to hold more talks with Gabriel's camp today, as per Fabrizio Romano? Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's go. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Interesting times this morning and over the last 24 hours for Chelsea fans in relation to Jules Kounde. Big reports from Spain that Barcelona are set to hijack this deal at the 11th hour. Still a lot of the British press, including our very own Ben Jacobs, who said to us just Tuesday, just 2 days ago, that it is a de facto done deal. That Chelsea are all but over the line. They're just finalizing costings and structures and so on and so forth with Sevilla for this player. But I want to hear from Chelsea fans this morning. What do you think about this deal? Could it be a case? Could there be a case of Barca sweeping in and taking away this target that has been around just for a long time now? It's been a target for a long time when it comes to Chelsea Football Club. And of course, Gabriel Jesus, a player Arsenal fans have wanted for a while. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that today further talks are going to happen between the entourage, Arsenal, Man City, etc. for the completion of this deal. Are we looking at a situation where we're going into the final stages now? Is that what this is? Are we going into the final stages of that transfer? I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. The lines are open for you to phone in and have your say. But Jules Kounde is such an interesting one. And I'll give you the lowdown as far as I'm aware of it. I've read the reports from Spain that the deal could be hijacked. I've read them all. I've seen them all across Twitter. I've gone onto the websites and I've kind of clicked on the translate button. Barcelona seemingly look interested. Barcelona want him. I don't think this can be denied by anybody. This certainly looks like something which is being pursued by Barcelona. However, when speaking to Ben Jacobs, so sure, so confident that this deal is going to go ahead. Dean Jones, so assured and confident this deal is going to go ahead. There's been no real noise from any of the sort of Chelsea tier ones, as the Chelsea supporters would call them. And I think Ben Jacobs kind of fits into that category now as someone that is heavily trusted by Chelsea fans, that this deal is going to be hijacked. Now, I was also sent a message last night. I was sent a message last night by somebody very well connected at Chelsea Football Club, who has essentially said, this isn't happening. Barcelona are not going to get him. He is going to be a Chelsea player. That's what's been stated. That's what's been said. It's what I've been told by this individual. And I trust this individual because I know what he does for a job. This isn't someone who's telling me he works for so-and-so. I know what he does for a job. And I know that he has connection to a number of the journalists and a number of the people very closely connected to Chelsea. And he has said that he's been told by people that he knows well that Chelsea will get this deal done. There is a big however here, though. There is a big however here for me personally, because I'll be clipped up saying that a little bit there and put out again. And I'll leave this bit out. But the transfer market is fluid. The transfer market does throw up curveballs. The transfer market does create problems. And would I be the most shocked person in the world if Barca did do this? No. The one question I've got, though, is how can Barca keep even pursuing these players when they're not even able to register Kesse yet? They can't even register players they've already signed, and they're looking to buy more people. There is an element here, if you're a Man United fan, where you'll want this to happen. The more players Barca sign, let them get Rafinha, let them get Lewandowski, let them get Jules Kounde. It means they've got to sell. Who are they going to sell? So this is a deal that could actually help other clubs in the top 6. But the Chelsea journalists that I speak to, the general journalists I speak to, all still think de facto done deal. This is how confident they are about this. They're bored of talking about it. They're bored of talking about it, legitimately. And who's to say this isn't Sevilla? Who's to say this isn't Sevilla kind of putting this notion out there, putting this out there to the press? You know, maybe Barca have shown some loose interest. Maybe, I don't quite know. But I'm still confident, based on the people I speak to, that Chelsea will get this done. But I do understand the fear that Chelsea fans may have, because the transfer window throws up these curveballs. The transfer window creates these problems. It always has, and it always will. Mohammed here says they will sell. Absolutely. I think they've got to sell. I think they have to. I think they have to sell. So let's see what happens. Terry, look at Newcastle and Kounde. Newcastle, yeah, listen, I can't see him picking Newcastle over Chelsea, to be honest with you. I really, really can't. I really, really can't. According to Grimes, Dembele already signed the agreement with Chelsea and Kounde deal is finished. And she could be right. She could be absolutely right in that. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what transpires in relation to that transfer. It's a possibility, Terry. I think him being in London speaks volumes. And you're absolutely right, John. I think him being in London, why was he here? I also believe Dembele was here as well. Now, I know there's lots to do in London. There's probably parties and events that people like you and I that never get invited to, never will get invited to. And they could have been here for that. But listen, I'm putting 2 and 2 together here, and I'm getting 4. Or at the very least, I'm getting 3.9 or 4.1. Do you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much to do with those deals. There's no doubt about it. Barca are broke. And they're just about to sign. And they're just about to sign Gavi to a new deal. And the board want Gavi, they want Kesse, and they want Pedri to be their main 3 midfielders. That's what I've read. That's what was come out of Barcelona. So they've got to sell anyway. They can't even register these deals. So yeah, it doesn't. This news is one where it's a done deal. I'm trusting Ben Jacobs on this. The same as when I was getting called out by some gooners yesterday. Oh, how can you say Tielemans is advanced? An official bid hasn't even gone in. Sometimes I despair that people don't listen to what the journalists say, and that the official bid is generally the last piece of the negotiating process. After the bid's accepted, there's the medical, the legal element are kind of gone over with a fine-tooth comb, and then the player signs. But the main body of work is done before the official bid goes in, which is just the way transfers go right now. So it's advanced when it gets to a point where you're literally finalizing the intricate details of the deal with the club. That is the epitome of advanced. Equally, I feel like when you're in a conversation with the player and you're getting into real big details, they're advanced conversations. It is a subjective view around what you consider advanced versus somebody else. But listen to the breakdown from the journalist, and it will always make a lot more sense. Arjan here says, we will keep negotiating with Sevilla and waste time. Then we'll panic buy some centre-back with Kounde and will not address the CDM issue. Club bores me. Arjan here, not a happy Chelsea fan. But how do you think and feel? You can phone in and have your say today. We're also talking about the situation with Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. So we want to hear from Arsenal fans on this as well. What I find intriguing about this deal is that Arsenal, I've always felt that the international break ending was going to be important. The international break being over was going to be important for Arsenal. Arsenal need to get this deal closed off. No shadow of a doubt in my mind. Arsenal have to get this closed off, and they have to get this closed off now. Not next week, not next month. Well, maybe next week. Or maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh. They've got to get it done. I've got a video dropping later about Chelsea and Nkunku and Lukaku. Please check it out. There is an element of reporting in there from some of the tier ones, but also just my take and my view on what could happen. But Arsenal can't afford for anybody else to get heavily involved in the Jesus situation. Spurs lurking. Chelsea far more involved. If Chelsea give up on 2 or 3 other targets, Rafinha, They can't get Sterling, and Nkunku is completely unattainable, and Jesus is still there, they may strike. So I think those negotiations need to happen. They've managed to get the price down to the low 40s, where it was originally predicted they'd have to pay 50 to 55 million for Gabriel. Now it's around 40 to 43 in that bracket. Arsenal need to get that deal done. They need to get it done soon. Jesus wants to join them. He will be the best striker they've had at their club since peak Aubameyang. Prem proven, which isn't always, it's not always a guarantee, but I think at the age that he's at, he's shown no signs of waning. He's got a great goal per 90-minute ratio in the league, one of the best in Premier League history. A fantastic signing. But remember, Chelsea are still lurking. Terry, we need you in other streams also talking football. Why don't you go to other channels? Any reason? I stream and make about between 3 to 4 pieces of content a day. The problem I have in terms of collaborating is that it's nearly always happening when we've got shows scheduled on the Football Terrace. So it's very hard for me to do it. So yeah, I'm always up for collaborating with people. It's just about them asking, really. It's not an arrogant thing with me. I won't ever approach someone and say, "Can I come on your channel?" I don't like to be presumptuous. So if somebody wants me on their channel, ask me. If they don't, then that means they don't want me on. But I'm really up for collaborating with anybody, really. Even if I don't like them, they're more fun. I think someone's a dickhead. I'd love to do a stream with them. But everyone's a little bit menstrual over it, really. Chelsea are one of us now, is what H7 has got to say. Brighton centre-backs are overrated because of Ben White. Okay, that's a really weird comment to put through. Lewis Dunk would be class. Lewis Dunk's a decent player. But there we go. Don't worry, Arsenal fans. When you sign no one of relevance, you'll be able to buy the new training kit and watch that all for nothing. Doc, listen, Arsenal are going to sign players. Let's not get it twisted. Arsenal are going to sign players. I think there's no shadow of a doubt that is going to happen. No doubt that they're going to sign players. ACS says, be very surprised if Lukaku takes a wage cut for a move. Feel Chelsea's stuck with Lukaku another season. He will probably run the contract down and go for free. I mean, yeah, but that's for him to run the contract down. It's 4 more years. It's a 5-year deal. He ain't going to sit around for 4 years. It's not going to happen. Chelsea may end up having to fall on their sword on that. Chelsea won't want a disgruntled player in the ranks. Chelsea may have to fall on their sword and go, right, we'll pay the difference. That is what could end up happening. But that's why these negotiations take time. But we'll get on to, we've got another video dropping later today about Lukaku, so we'll talk about that a little bit more then. Terry, Barca are having a press conference today about how they can't just restructure their finances like Real Madrid can. Look, it's going to be intriguing to see what happens with Barca. Look, I've said before about Man United, I'm not throwing my toys out the pram like a lot of United fans are with Frankie de Jong. Just wait. They are looking to buy 3 or 4 more players. They can't register the people they've already bought. They're going to have to sell. At some point, the pressure crumbles and they'll sell cheaper than they're asking for. It will happen. You have to try and get the best deals possible because money doesn't grow on trees because of FFP. You have to do prudent deals. If you overpay for every transfer, you end up being stung. And what will happen in the end is you run out of money to renew a contract, to buy a star that you want. You can't do that. I know we all want deals done yesterday. We want that instant gratification, but it isn't always possible. It really, really isn't. Right, let's go to some of your calls this morning. We've got Fatur to come on the show. We've got Lamin to come on the show. Mohammed's backstage. Tommy's backstage. We're going to go to CFC Matty first of all. He was the first one to call in today and be backstage. What I need from you all today, though, is that like button to be smashed. Right now, please give that a big smash for us. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. It's very, very important to us. Lots of content coming up today as well. Around 6 p.m, we're going live. The Top 6 show back again today. Great debates for you on that as well. I'm very excited about the debates that we're going to have on that show today as well. So please make sure you're tuning in later on today. But CFC Matty's here with me now to have his say on this situation with Chelsea. What are you saying, mate?
How's it going, Terry? Blue tick and everything. I feel like I'm talking to a celebrity now. How's things? All right.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm certainly not one of them, but thank you very much. What's your take on this news that Barca are going to hijack Jules Kounde? What's your feeling around it?
Have they got FM editor settings on or something? I just wonder where all this abundance of money's coming from when they're supposed to be broke. You know, I know they're going to get rid of half of their squad and they're looking at De Jong, getting rid of De Jong, but they're looking to sign Marcus Alonso, Christensen, and now they're looking to go in for Kounde and Lewandowski. Where's all the money going? You know, where's the money coming from? It's it's weird. But then again, I mean, I'm not at all surprised if we lose out on Jules Kounde at the moment, because at the moment our owner's job at the moment is waffling on Bloomberg and repainting Roman Abramovich's old office. So at the moment we're not doing anything at the moment. So I can see Kounde being restless about it. I mean, okay, Grimes is saying it's done, but as you said, the transfer market is completely unpredictable, and he might just get restless and say, "Look, Barcelona are calling me, and if they can pull off the deal, then I'm going to go where I'm wanted." I mean, we can't even get Dembele through the door, and yet we're already looking at trying to get what was it, Nkunku? 100 mil. God, I can't see it happening, to be honest. I think it's going to be very, very slow, and I mean snail slow. So it's frustrating, man. It's so frustrating.
I get that it's frustrating. I would say this to you right now, Matty, though. I would honestly say this, and I mean this. I'm a Man United fan. I could be Fred Salt here. I could be like, I would say this. If you listen to what the Bowley group have said, and I saw the quote yesterday, and I think it was from Cancelo, it could have been from somebody else. It was via Simon Phillips's account, where it basically said that the Bowley group are willing to buy and spend on replacing individuals leaving, but you need those individuals to leave first. So you lot are not going to drop £200 million on players when all the dead wood is still sitting here. You need once you get 2 or 3 players nearly moving on, I think then you're going to act. Man United are in the same boat. Everyone's like, why haven't we bought a defender yet? Well, because we've got to get rid of Bailly and we've got to get rid of AWB first. Because the last thing you need at Chelsea is you buy 3 new players and then all the players that don't want to be there or are not going to play are sitting in your dressing room causing problems, because they will cause problems because players do this. So I think people, when you've got a hole in your squad, so for instance, buying Darwin Núñez at Liverpool's easy because they know Mane's leaving, Origi's going, there's space in the squad. Look at Haaland at City. Aguero left. They didn't replace him last year. There was a hole in the squad. I think we have to be a little bit more mindful of those matters, if you get where I'm coming from. I know we all want it done now, but you have to move some of these players on as well. You can't just buy and top up and then create this bloated squad, because that in itself can create problems. That is what I would say around being patient.
The only thing I would say is that we've got rid of Rudiger now, so there's a position to be filled there. We're talking about letting go of Lukaku, so that's another space. The problem is as I said to Jem not so long ago, this transfer market is a first come first serve basis. You've only got to look at the likes of Cucurella that's just gone out through the door, and he's going to go to Manchester City. You've got Basuma that's going to Spurs. You've got so many different good options that we're just missing out on that we could do with. It's frustrating, but I get it as any other sport. I mean, Manchester United definitely are very frustrated, and I mean, I've heard about the Timber deal and I've heard about different other deals. It's a very frustrating time, and it seems only that City and Liverpool are the only ones that are doing business, but we need to pull our finger out. We do really need to pull our finger out.
I hear you. CFC Matty, thanks for coming on, mate, and having your say.
Cheers, Terry. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Thank you very much indeed. Daniel here says, I have a feeling that the Barca links are bogus. Sevilla trying to drive up the price yet again, which wouldn't be a shock. They've done that before. Dexter here says, dear God, grow up. Window hasn't even opened for a week and we were frozen commercially due to sanctions. We're playing catch up and the club is working behind the scenes, is what Dexter has got to say about it here. People say it's because Roman's gone, but I remember Chelsea fans getting like this last summer when Chelsea fans have been doing this in terms of being frustrated about transfers now, even under the Roman era. So I don't necessarily think it's because Roman isn't here per se. Next on the show, Lamin's here. Then Fatour's coming on to have his say. Tommy's still to come as well, plus Mohammed. Make sure like buttons are being smashed now, people. What are you saying, Lamin?
Yes, Terry. I'm good, thanks. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. What are you saying?
Yeah, man. You know what? Yeah, I'm getting bored of this Jules Kounde deal, man. It feels like the Jadon Sancho saga all over again. We need to wrap this up, and wrap it up pretty quickly, because we've got a lot of business to do, a lot of players that are leaving and the players that are coming. Jules Kounde is just one defender we need to get in. In my mind, we need to get in 2 or maybe even 3 defenders that come in, and that's not even solving all of our issues, because we need to get in midfielders and strikers in, which is what I'm really looking at. I'm like thinking, okay, so who's gonna come in now that Lukaku is going, and who's gonna come in that? What's our midfield options gonna be like? So I know the window just started and there's no need to panic, but at the same time, you don't want to leave things too late, because like the other caller just said, options are being taken off the table. So that's just where I stand really. And like the other transfer that I'll really be excited for is when Lukaku finally leaves really. So I think we'll all have a little bit of a celebration when he goes. But I'm interested to see who this next strike option is going to be. And Barca are getting on my nerves now. They're really pissing me off, because for a club that's so broke, they keep going for our players, they keep going for our targets. I know, like, it's all media speculations, but every time I see it, I'm just like, this club just won't go away. You either broke or you're not. Like, what are you lot doing? And was it yesterday that La Liga basically complained against City and PSG? They might have a point, but then again, I don't care. I don't have no sympathy for them, because you have Barcelona here going around. We all know that they're broke, but at the same time, they want to sign like 10,000 players. I'm like, what's going on? So yeah, man. I'll just sit back and wait, because this is the summer to really, really judge the Bowley group. All this noise they're making sounds good on paper. Everything they're saying sounds good, but I'm really going to judge them on what they do on this transfer window, really. If they don't, then yeah, we're screwed. But yeah, that's all I got to say, man.
I hear you, Lamin. I hear the disappointment in your voice. Top man for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Fatur on the show next. What you saying, my friend?
Yeah, pretty much like I'm gonna echo what Matty said earlier, and it has been frustrating window so far for us, and it came really late just after the sanction as well, when everything seems back to normal, and I think with us as a fan, I think we just don't need to rush anything to get our right players in. I mean, we've seen some complaints about we haven't signed Kounde yet, and I think from our perspective is that we're trying to be smart, because they're waiting for the Nations League to end, and the Jules Kounde injury, when they assessed him, like, it wasn't that bad, but I think it's all a smart business for Chelsea at the moment. But even though it's frustrated, but at the same time, someone said about short-term pain, long-term gain. That was it for me. It's like that's the preferred take that I would do. You know, like I would prefer us to have like a short-term pain and long-term gain, and hopefully when this kind of deal like Lukaku gonna pan out for the next couple of days, and it would be like we got some money coming in, and let's get these right signings in and right signings for Tuchel as well. And with all further ado, we've been missed out a couple of key players in this window as well, the likes of Bissouma, the likes of Camavinga, the likes of Tchouaméni. They're all Chelsea targets for a year now, and it's disappointing to see that happen, you know. And hopefully the next couple of weeks things will be changed, man. And yeah, looking forward to next season as well.
Yeah, look, I think it's. I get the disappointment, I get the frustration, I get the concern and the worry. I think it's just a little bit about. Let's just give it a couple more. I would say give it another 2 or 3 weeks. The season starts in 7 weeks' time. A lot can be done in that period, and I feel like when 1 or 2 deals happen, there'll be a little bit of a domino effect in relation to it. But I do get the concern, and I do understand why fans just want it done and dusted. You look at Spurs right now; they're feeling excited. Man City. You know, they've had a few deals done already. Cucurella is going to come in. They've signed 2 strikers. They're going to look at a midfielder. They could have their business almost tied up by the end of June, and then they just get to sit back, relax, and enjoy pre-season. I think a lot of fans would want to be in that position as well. I totally get that.
Yeah, at the moment, Spurs had the best transfer window so far. Man City will come second, Liverpool third. I think we'll probably be like around 6th, the best around. After like Aston Villa get their like four signings in this window. It's weird, but at the same time, it's just like for us, it's been frustration after frustration, day by day basis. But
yeah.
I think the patience it's a patient test for us at the moment, and And I think we'll be all right for next season. I don't fear us missing out for the top four. But I just don't think we're going to miss out the top four. I think we'll be in there. I think we'll be behind Liverpool and Man City again next season.
Fair enough. Fatur, great call, my friend. Thanks for all the support on the terrace, mate. We'll speak to you again soon. Top man. Thank you. I get the frustration from people. I really, really do. Gooners, we want to hear from you as well today. Gabriel Jesus, are the final stages about to start? Fabrizio Romano has confirmed today that you're holding further talks with the camp, with the player to get this deal done, to try and get this deal over the line. How important is this to you? And of course, we're talking the supposed hijack from Barcelona for Jules Kounde. Now, I'm getting a lot of you in the comment section sort of telling me different things here. Olu says, good morning, Terry. Mark Goldbridge in his morning show explained the Barca meeting on his morning show. Stay with me here. I can't fit it all in, but Barca should announce a £750 million financing. And of course, we've had Abdul that's come on the show and told us this, and that there are financial issues, but they think they can resolve them. Now, this is good and bad news depending on what party you're in. So if you're thinking that Barca are going to drop their asking price for Frankie de Jong because of this, if this financial deal comes in and they have the money instantly, this changes that matter. Could they then go and sign the likes of Jules Kounde because they've got the money too, they've got the etc.? Yes, they can. In terms of players leaving their club, if you actually go back and look at some of the Frankie de Jong comments that have come out of Barcelona outlets, it's very much been, well, they want to sell him because they want to move on. They want to try something different in midfield. So it depends on where you sit. It depends on what your connection to this deal is. But would I be surprised if Barca name some sort of new financing that's going to fix their issues? No. Do companies want to invest in Barcelona? Yes. They're football clubs at the level of Barca, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Real Madrid, etc. They are foregone conclusions almost when it comes to investment because fans are diehard. There's almost nothing you can do to make fans walk away. So it becomes very much a sure thing of an investment because the fans are going to keep putting the money in. If it was announced today that Barca were going to go bankrupt and if every Barca fan in the world donates on average £5 each, they'll be okay. You wouldn't get everybody give £5, but you probably average out that would happen. Chelsea fans, how much would you give to stop your club going out of business? You'd donate 5, 10, 20, £30 each. If you've got 5 million fans worldwide, you could raise hundreds of millions of pounds quite easily. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Man United are waiting on Barca. Kounde, Kesse, etc. are genuine targets of Barca, but all goes well. They have a £200 million to spend. Wow. Okay, so that's basically what's being said there by Goldbridge this morning. Thank you. £10 you put in there. Fair enough. Arsenal will challenge if they get forwards and 2 other good signings. That's a good point. You know, we look at this Arsenal situation with Gabriel Jesus, and I think their fans obviously were very angry when it was announced Basuma was going to Tottenham. But if Arsenal are very likely to bring in Yuri Tillemans, who will be a phenomenal signing for them, he will. They're likely to bring in Gabriel Jesus. They're leading the race on both those players as it stands right now on the 16th of June. If they sign those 2 players and 1 or 2 more, the youngster a year older, Arsenal will be dangerous next year. They will be dangerous. Man United, Spurs, Chelsea, the 3 teams they're really going to compete for the top 4 with, are going to have to be very, very, very good. I don't think you're going to get away with having an up and down season like last year that Spurs had, Man United had. I think that teams will break away from that points level, and I think Arsenal could do it with the right signings. They could. You're then going to test how good Arteta is. Rotation, managing bigger egos again, but the squad could be good enough to challenge. There's no doubt. And when it's a challenge, I'm saying challenging for top 4, like strongly. They're not going to challenge for the league title. That isn't going to happen. Good morning. I would be really happy if Chelsea could sign Declan Rice. Is what Scott McDonald has got to say this morning on the show. The Chelsea low ain't that deep. I don't know what you're talking about there. But anyway. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. Spurs have more European trophies than City and Arsenal. This is true, I believe. Daniel Sweetman here says Arsenal and Spurs are going to have to deal with Europe and the World Cup gap. They will need depth. I think everybody needs depth. Plus, everyone's been forgetting this. I said it on Straight Facts yesterday with Jess. There's 5 subs now. And they're talking about 5 subs being in place forever. Okay, so now you've got 5 subs. A thick, deep squad's more important. Let's say you're Chelsea. And let's just say you've got the same squad as last year, plus players that you bought, because it just makes it easier than trying to work out who's coming and going. Imagine at 60 minutes, you can bring on Sterling, you can bring on Rafinha, you can bring on Nkunku. I'm just adding those guys as subs. Plus, you can bring on a substitute for someone at the back who's got a little knock and replenish somebody in the engine room. That's power. Imagine City next year. What they're going to have. They could have a situation where coming off the bench is Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling, and Mahrez all at the same time. It's crazy. So it changes. Honestly, the 5 sub rule is going to change football. It is going to change football. It's going to be different to when it happened in the renewal of the season after the CV19 suspension, because the games are so close, it didn't have the same impact. And I know games will be close this year because of the World Cup, etc. But when it continues beyond that, and remember, clubs don't plan for 1 year ahead. They typically plan for 2 or 3 years. Having it's going to be easier to sell to a player. You're going to get game time. Why? Because I can bring you on as a sub every game. Every game you can come on now. Every game. Trust me, Donny van der Beek would have had so many more appearances for Man United if there was more than 3 subs. He really would have done. Let's go to some more calls. Winter Surfers to come, Mo's to come. We're going to go to Mohammed. He's been waiting a while now. Liverpool fan, what are you saying, Mo?
Yo, I'm just saying that about Barcelona. I think why they're funding, where they get this money from, because I heard that they're trying to, what's it called? That they're trying to pay for people to pay at the new camp and weddings, apparently, is that what I've heard. So I don't know if they're using that money to fund their transfers, which is probably a bit stupid considering that can only be temporary money. And I don't think Chelsea fans need to worry about too much about Kounde going to Barcelona, because all these players are being linked to, they can't possibly sign them all, and then financial fair play comes to it. So yeah, I don't think Chelsea fans need to panic, because the funny thing is that even though we've signed Nunes and we're getting this Ramsey from Aberdeen, we're still, just a couple of days ago, I just saw on Twitter our fan base complaining that we haven't signed a midfielder yet. But we obviously need to get rid of players like Ox or, I don't know, Keita, just to get players through the door, because that's what Liverpool do. They sell the players and then they get their replacements.
Yeah, listen, I think a very level-headed take on all of that there, Mohammed. I really, really do. And I think I've seen Liverpool fans get a bit antsy about not signing anybody yet, like a midfielder yet. But that's because City look like they're doing bits this summer.
Yeah,
and 2 strikers. If they're going, listen, and I'm putting this out there now on the terrace. It's been said on the Done Deal show by a number of the journalists. Keep an eye out. Calvin Phillips could be going in, but also keep an eye out for Declan Rice to Man City as well. Just keep an eye out for that. Just keep an eye out for it, depending on what they raise through the sale of other players. They bring in 30, 40 million for Sterling, 50, 60 million for Bernardo Silva. They might decide to do a Declan Rice move. And because he's better than Calvin Phillips. But there we go. Mohammed, great call, my friend. Thank you for all the support.
I just want to say one thing as well. I was just about it's just literally been like only 1 week since the transfer window's open. So I think there's a lot of business still to be done. So like people shouldn't get too upset about it until like the transfer window's over, because like a lot of things can happen in the next 2 or 3 months,
Absolutely, they can, my friend. Of course, they can. Mo, top man for coming on. We'll speak again, somebody. Thank you very much indeed. Please get those like buttons smashed for us now, and make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. If you don't want to miss any of our notifications when we go live, the best thing you can do is join the Football Terrace negotiation group chat. I'm going to put that into the comment section now. Over 4,100 people in there now, which is absolutely amazing. Keep up to date with all the latest transfer news, stories, and of course, when we're going live and got content coming out. Join that now. The link, I've just spammed it a little bit into the comment section, so go and check that out, my people. Winter Surfer's on with me now. Mo coming up as well. What are you saying, Winter Surfer?
Hi, Terry. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. What's your take on this Jules Kounde situation? Do you think it's a done deal, or do you think it might end up being off? What's your gut saying?
I think it might be true. It might be true. I'm not going to get panicked because he's not our player in the first place. I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea didn't sneakily go in and try and lower the price because he's having this surgery. Do you know what I mean? So he's not back for 4 weeks, so they're going to try a cheeky discount. Listen, if it happens, it happens. I'm not getting attached to someone who's not at this club yet. So, you know, I'm just going to wait it out. And I would just have I don't know why I'm seeing all this like grumpy Chelsea fans, you know, like something really bad has happened. We're 6 days into a transfer window. I think the most important deal this summer so far for Chelsea is getting Lukaku out as quickly as possible for me. That means that so then Tuchel doesn't have to have that hanging over him. We don't have that hanging over us. And then we can move on. In a month's time, if we haven't signed anyone, then you can start maybe getting a bit panicky or something like that. But listen, it's one. I didn't. Were Chelsea fans expecting on the first day of the window for us to sign like 6 players through the door right away? Because I think that's what some of this fan base thought would happen. That they were doing Abramovich, like when he first came and he signed like 2 or 3 players a day or something like that. And I think Matty was on earlier, and I respect Matty, but Dembele can't sign a contract till July 1st anyway, right? So he can't sign. So it's just. Well, and also, you said it before. Chelsea are so secretive and sometimes slow in their transfer dealings. Even the tier ones are getting bored by some of the stories because we just don't release a lot of information. So it's just about expectations, really. I want Lukaku out as soon as possible and then deal with the incomings. So.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, there's a comment here from Luis Garcia. I don't know much about the source, but he says talks between Barcelona and Sevilla for Jules Kounde are now advanced. The transfer would be complete for 55-60 million euros plus 1 player. That's coming from a Catalan radio station. I mean, look, and that could of course happen as well. I mean, the Dembele thing, as you say, I didn't realize he couldn't sign anything until the 1st of July. But that's funny. Again, I'm really keeping a close eye on Grimes this summer because
I mean as well, yeah.
Because I'm one of these people. Listen. I know a lot of people on Twitter don't like in the knows. I mean, I get accused of being an in the know. What I find really interesting about me being called an in the know is that I share all the sources, and the same journalists actually on my shows. It's sometimes a bit like, where'd you get information from? Like, read the room, bro. Like, I literally have the. So I had a gooner call me out yesterday. How can you say, Terry, that Tielemans is advanced? I showed him the clip of what the journalist said. The journalist actually said very advanced. I just said advanced, right? This same Arsenal fan had the same journalist on his show and says he's a really good journalist. Like, why are you calling me out? Like, people have an issue in the know people on socials.
Even Grimes is not really. She doesn't call herself. She doesn't even call herself a journalist.
A journalist, exactly.
She doesn't call herself.
That's why I'm intrigued by her. Now, what's interesting about her is that she sort of said that the deal. I think she talks in reality. So
yes.
She'll say it's a done deal for Dembele. Then why isn't he holding a shirt yet? Well, because he can't sign the paperwork until the 1st of July. Then it ain't done, is it? Well, it is though. Like it is in the sense of like I think we all get bogged down by semantics. So for me, nearly every journalist I've ever spoken to about transfers has told me the same thing. Player negotiations get agreed. Then the clubs negotiate and agree, but no official offers get made until they know that they're going to be agreed on, and that's done through intermediaries. So when you hear no official bid yet, that doesn't mean your club hasn't done anything. Equally, it doesn't mean that your club, we didn't get rejected. Man United didn't make an official bid for Darwin Núñez, but we still got rejected. We can marry it up all we want, right? But if Liverpool didn't get involved, we would have signed him. We're giving all this nonsense. It was the price and it was this. I don't believe that. I believe it's a great story for us. We can tell people we're not going to be. It's fitting our narrative that we're not going to overspend. It's fitting our narrative that we haven't got much money to try and drive price down. I like that. But in reality, we just got rejected. Take it on the chin and roll over. It's as simple as that for me, mate. I wanted to ask you about Gabriel Jesus because Arsenal starting talks with him today. It's a feeling amongst Arsenal fans this could be going into its final stages. Would you like to see Chelsea gate crash that deal and sign him?
I would, but I think you've said it multiple times. I think we're in a one-in, one-out situation. So I think Lukaku out, Dembele in. And then who do you get out next? Because if you bring him in, we're talking Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, Cho, and Mount as an attacking, in there still. And I believe they're going to try and do one in, one out. So I don't believe, unless it breaks down, I think he's going to go to Arsenal. I think they're favourites. But unless we get someone out in between time, like a Ziyech or a Werner, which would probably be my top two easiest to get out, then I don't think we're going to be in for him, unfortunately. Because I think he could do a job for us in multiple positions. I don't think Tuchel wants a striker for this system. I don't think it works. I think he wants more fluid. I think he wants interchangeable things, and that's what Jesus can offer. Unless it breaks down or we sell someone in between time, I think Arsenal will get him. I think he'll do a good job for Arsenal as well. I don't know how far he'll take them, but he'll do a decent job for them. That's for sure.
Absolutely. It's just come out from the Times now. The Times have posted this, that Gabriel Jesus wants to sign for Arsenal this summer. And again, I've said it all along. The other clubs are interested, but 110%. 110% Arsenal have been the front runners. And it's funny, really, because when I've shared the Chelsea, the Gabriel Chelsea is on, Spurs is on, what I've been very, very careful to reply every time is Arsenal are still the front runners in this. And I think they've maintained that. And if that, the Times are very, very credible as well. Winter Surfer, pleasure speaking, my friend. We'll chat again soon. Top
Absolutely.
Man. Thank you. Jazzy here says, United did make a proposal. Yeah, we did make a proposal. And if you watch the Terrace enough, I don't care whether it's an unofficial, official, done via an intermediary, a proposal. They're all bids. They're all bids. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't get bogged down in the semantics. That's for babies for me. That's for babies, and I can't be dealing with doing that. There we go. But so it's one of them ones for me now. If that's the case, listen, City is still demanding 60 million euros according to the Times. That's a little bit different to what Ben Jacobs has said. That says it's nearer sort of the 42 million pounds mark, which is a lot less than 60 million euros. I'm actually not too sure on the exchange rate off the top of my head. Let me just have a little look at that exchange rate wise. Let's see. So 60 million, that's 51 million. Maybe they're a little bit behind on that, or that slower release of the news, but we'll see what happens in relation. Let me I just want to update one thing here. We're going to take a call now from Mohammed. What are you saying, Mohammed?
How's it going, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Just a quick one, Terry. With all these transfers going on, United seemed, another Dean Henderson's done to not go for £20 million, so that was quite good. But I think this transfer window is going to be very important for Ten Hag, Terry. If he doesn't get the right signings this transfer window, as we've seen in the past, Terry, at United, if you mess up the first transfer window of the new manager, they never recover, because it's always playing catch up and the pressure is on from day one. So United can't fail Eric Ten Hag. If we mess this transfer window up, and if he gets sacked within the first 1 or 2 years, Terry, then Man United fans have to get these owners out by any means possible. That means declaring war on the club. I don't know, boycotting it, because if they mess this transfer window up, Terry, and if the manager we wanted, that we were dying for, that we were campaigning for, and we get this manager and we mess up his first transfer window, and then he gets sacked 2 years down the road, then it's all cards off the table. Then you have to, every single United fan channel, every single fan has an ownership, has a duty to boycott that football club. Don't go to any games, and get those owners out by any means possible. Enough is enough. They have to get this window right, Terry. It's very important they get the signings done as soon as possible. Bring the signings in, get them embedded, and start the season very strong, because the fixtures have come out now. But if he's not with Frankie de Jong, if he doesn't want to come, just move on from him. I don't understand. We've seen it in the past here where the player doesn't want to come, they come and they flop because they don't want to come to the football club. Like Di Maria. Di Maria never wanted to come to Man United, but he had no choice, and then he came and they flopped. If de Jong comes, yes, I know he's worked under Eric Ten Hag and under Ajax, but Terry, if he doesn't want to be there, Terry, that's going to affect his football as well. Like, he doesn't want to be there. He wants to play at Barca, and he wants to stay at Barca. It's like you're forcing him to come to United, and it's just not going to work out. Like, we need to get our signings done now. Get them done.
And I do get that. I tried to do a show today about really talking about Man United. trying to talk Chelsea and Arsenal predominantly. And I get where you're coming from, but it's interesting that you share the same feelings that Chelsea and a lot of Arsenal fans have been feeling in the last few days. And Arsenal are probably about to feel a little bit different, because Jesus is confirming that he wants the Arsenal transfer now. The bid has gone in. They'll start to feel a little bit better. And I think that this news will come. You know, Gabriel Jesus to Chelsea, to Arsenal, has been a deal reported on now for 3 months. Deals take time. Liverpool started working on Darwin Núñez 4 months ago. It didn't happen in a week. You know, Haaland to City, clubs were talking to Haaland's reps last summer. These deals didn't get done quickly. It's a fallacy. What happens is some journalists are very clever. And, oh, look, City have got these 2 deals done in a week. What have Man United got done? We've been working on Frankie de Jong for 5 weeks. It took them a year to get Haaland agreed. A year. Liverpool, 4 months on Darwin Núñez. Gabriel Jesus might get done in the next few days. That's been, go back to the first report from that. I swear it was like March that was reported on. So that's 3 months. So 5 weeks for Frankie, it isn't that long. The problem is what happens to football fans all the time is we're lied to. We're lied to and they twist and they spin things or they don't reveal the full truth. One of the reasons I love Ben Jacobs coming on is because he breaks stuff down into granular detail so people understand. The problem is most football fans are, I'm waffling now, I don't want to hear anymore. Just say whether it's advanced, close, off, or happening. People just want the basics. They don't want to be educated on what's going on. That then leads to frustration. Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea fans, for me, please remain patient. Moan if it doesn't happen, but remain patient for now. There's no point stressing yourself out. I mean that. Mo, always appreciate your call though, my friend.
Thanks,
We'll chat again soon. Top man. Thank you. Please smash that like button for us. I want to hear from you. Gary the Lion is coming onto the show. What are you saying, Gary?
Hi, Terry. How's it going?
I'm very good, my friend. What do you want to say?
No, I was just quickly thinking about this one in, one out that Winter Surfer was talking about. Actually, I have to say, I think he's quite right with that. So now what we have to focus on, we get those 2 defenders in. But now the thing is, Declan Rice is going to be a bit of a problem, I think. So they say 75 mil, but that's only to start talking, I guess. So I don't think Chelsea's going to splash, let's say 100 million for Declan Rice now. So if I was them, I'd maybe even consider getting Calvin Phillips now. And then maybe in next season, then you can get Declan Rice because we do use 2 pivots. And then maybe by that time, Jorginho will be out. Maybe Kante will be out by then as well. So I'd say that's actually quite sufficient replacements, if you ask me.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I think it's excellent work, really. If that can all be done and that can be over the line and that can be completed, there's no doubt. Are you relaxed or are you concerned or stressed about this? How do you feel?
At the moment, I have to be honest, I'd say I'm actually quite on the fence because if you think about it, preseason is starting 2 weeks from now. You don't want your moves just waiting and waiting and waiting because it is first come, first serve. I mean, if you think about it, if we actually went and got Yves Bissouma, I think that actually would have been a pretty decent buy because then you don't have to get Calvin Phillips. I'd actually put those 2 actually at the same... What would you say? The same rankings. They're more or less at the same place for me. But I don't know. The longer you wait, the longer you're gonna have these rumors like Jules Kounde now going to Barcelona, which I don't think is gonna happen. But that's just my honest opinion.
Yeah, mate, I totally get where you're coming from, and I think your view and sort of you're kind of looking at it from a sort of helicopter view, staying patient and reviewing it. I think Chelsea fans should be putting pressure on their club, no doubt, but you can do that without over panicking and everything. But I'm sure if Arsenal pull off Gabriel Jesus today, more panic will set in. And the video we've got dropping later today that kind of touches on that. Every player that gets signed, especially with Chelsea being involved in this deal, taking an interest. That was never a priority for Chelsea. You weren't pursuing it heavily, but with Jesus leaving the table, if Arsenal sign him, it's one less option. Should Dembele not happen? Should you not get Nkunku? Should Lukaku leave? You've got one less option. So I get the stress level start to increase. But Gary, top man for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Hi, Terry. Thanks for the awesome content. Thank you, Gerald. I really appreciate the compliment there, my friend. Thank you. I prefer Tchouaméni, but would be happy with Rice. Definitely don't want him to be our marquee signing and definitely not 100 million plus. Yeah, I hear you on that. Bissouma is levels above Phillips is what Guy Fawkes has got to say there. A lot would agree. Spurs and trophies in the same sentence, please, is what Lord Zola's got to say. What else we got here? Terry, has your dad upset you with all this crap about Arsenal? No, my dad's a Spurs fan. Oh, you mean like why I'm backing Arsenal? No, listen, I'm just fair with it. I'm just fair. Like I'm just fair. I'm just fair with these things. Like there's nothing deep about it. Someone told me to check out what Grimes had just said. Agreement, Chelsea and Lukaku move, 15 million loan deal. I swear to you, I've got a video dropping later that's pre-recorded. I said it'd be about 15 mil. 80 million euros, 15 mil. I think 18 million euros is about 15 mil, unless my maths is off. Yeah, it is. See, clever, right? So yeah, I'm not surprised to see H. Grams put that out there today. It's what I was told. Also, so interesting. That and if that's done, that's really going to change things. It's really going to change things in relation to the window and everything else kind of surrounding it. No doubt about it whatsoever. Let's take a look at some more of these comments that are coming through here. Also, there's rumors that Real Madrid are after Jude Bellingham. I mean, if they sign imagine Jude Bellingham, Camavinga, and Tchouaméni is your midfield. It's ridiculous. I kind of had a feeling a year ago that all three of those players would end up at different football clubs. But yeah, interesting. There we go. A lot of people tell me to go look at the Grimes tweet. I will do a little bit later. What else are we saying here? Okay, you guys are kind of chatting to each other, so there's no point kind of putting your comments up. You're not really making any points. When you guys chat to each other, it's so funny in the comments because it's like I can't really put them up because contextually, someone looking at this stream later is like, I don't get what that. It's not a question. It's not a point. It's just fighting. That will be an achievement for Spurs to finish above Chelsea. Wow. Yeah, again, it's just you guys having a pop at each other. So there we go. Dexter here says it'll be interesting to see how the World Cup impacts the Premier League and Cup competitions in general. Just hope players don't come back with injuries. Yeah, that's certainly going to be the case. There's no doubt about it. That's certainly going to be the case. It's certainly going to be something that people are kind of sort of look at and stuff like that. So, but there we go. Okay, you guys are just chatting Tottenham in here. Terry, can you recap on what's been said so far? That's a great point then. Guys in the comments, you can keep bantering each other with Spurs and that, but we'll move on. So essentially, I mean, since the stream started, things have changed. Essentially, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that talks were going to happen today. We were asking the question, are Arsenal going into their final stages? It appears yes. It appears my question was spot on. Jesus to Arsenal feels like it's almost done. The player has picked the club. We were told last week that personal terms were agreed. And on top of that, a bid is reportedly being submitted of around £50 million. It's a bit more than what was put out there by other outlets. So let's see what that, when it comes through the wash, what that actually comes out like. You know, maybe that's inclusive of some add-ons. I don't know. I'm just going to put that out there as an example. But Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal feels like it is almost done. On top of that, Jules Kounde, talk about HIJACK from Barcelona coming in. The British press still think it's a de facto done deal. He's going to be a Chelsea player. We're taking your views. We're taking your opinions on these said stories. Spurs fan here saying 50 million. I don't think 50 million would be too much. 40 is better. 50, he is a very good goal scorer. He's a very good player. I think he'll do bits. I think he will do bits in an Arsenal shirt. I really do think he will. Chelsea and United and Chelsea don't know the type of players they want. Well, I think they do. I don't think that's a fair comment. I don't think personally that's a fair comment to make, if I'm being honest. I think they do know. Like, I really do think they know the types of players that they want. I really, really do. Super Chat here says, let's be honest, Terry, if it takes months to sign a player like Liverpool and did City and United, let's be honest, if it takes months to sign a player like City did, like Liverpool did City, okay, we United been missing a CDM for years now. Those that mean we don't talk to players. Well, it's different because we've changed our approach. we're looking at different players now. We've got a different. We are changing the philosophy again at the club, and this is where people have got to start looking at these things more. I think the word holistically. Is it a holistic view when you look at more than one factor as into why something's going wrong? Is holistic the right word? I feel like it is. I could be very wrong. But the reason that we're in this position at Man United is because we've changed philosophy again. We've got another rebuild again because we've moved away from whatever they were trying to build with Ollie. We're going, Ollie's style and Ollie's players are going to be different from Ten Hag's, right? They're different managers with different systems, with different approaches. Every time we sack a manager, we do this, meaning we start again. We start from the beginning again. And that's why a club philosophy is more important than the manager's philosophy. Now, it's okay to take Ten Hag and use his philosophy as long as the club adopts it moving forward. That way, the targets you're looking at, let's just say Ten Hag's a brilliant success. Brilliant success. And in 4 years, he leaves because he wants to go and manage the Netherlands. And we're at the beginning of the season, we're looking at the following summer's targets. If we suddenly change manager and can change styles and philosophies again, the squad becomes potentially void, and all the targets we've been working on all year become pointless. You have to keep the philosophy the same. So this is why I say to people, you need to stop forgetting why Man United or why Arsenal are having problems and look beyond like the very small, minute moment that we're living in. We're not doing anything wrong right now, but we have got legacy problems at the club that will take years to flush out. And the only way you keep them flushed out is by keeping a consistent philosophy, a certain type of player, certain type of manager. If you keep chopping and changing, you end up in this situation every 18 months to 2 years, and you never get out the rut. It's a bit like imagine you supposed to, I'm going to go gym, start a diet. I want to get bigger arms, bigger shoulders, nice abs, big legs. You want to get ripped. You want to put a bit of weight on and get ripped. You want to look good in your swim costume on holiday. Got 6 months to do it. If you get 5 weeks in, I'm losing the weight, I feel great. If after 5 weeks you start eating ice cream and chocolates and Pringles every night, drinking too much alcohol, you put the weight back on again. And then you start again. And some people do that. And you've got friends that do this. You might even be the guy that does it or the woman that does it. You do 5-6 weeks hard in the gym, looking good, and then you fall off. You have 2 months off, then you come back and go hard again, and then you fall off. Hard again, then fall off. That's Man United. That's how we run as a club. That person never gets into great shape and never maintains it because they're not consistent. They chop and change. Oh, I can't be bothered now, or I'm going to go in this direction. I'm going to have a couple of weeks off. You need to be consistent at all times. Legitimately, that's it. That's what you need to be. That is what you need to be. Now, a few people are saying here that Gary Jacobs has just confirmed the Arsenal Gabriel Jesus deal. Is that true? Is that true? Has he confirmed the deal was done? No, he says Arsenal make a bid. He hasn't said it's done, but he said Arsenal have made a bid. So that's not quite true, Smith, but there we go. We thought it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen, and there we go. But listen, everyone who's tuned in, I really do appreciate all of you. We're back later on today with more content. Top 6 show out later on today as well. Very, very excited to bring that. There's probably going to be some really big news between now and then. Until next time, my people, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all